There are many great apps in the Android Play Store that are worth paying for. And if you're someone who's comfortable making payments for apps or subscriptions, then I want to recommend 10 apps that were really useful for me, and I think they're worth every penny. Now, the first app in the list is called Bouncer. You know how your Android phone tends to get slow with time? It has a lot to do with the kind of apps you install and the kind of permissions these apps have. With Bouncer, you get to decide at the time of installation of the app whether you want to allow certain permissions. And if you've already got apps installed, don't worry, the Bouncer app will ask you if you want to reset the permissions for all the prior installed apps, and the next time you launch them, you can set the permissions yourselves. And just like that, I think it's a great way to have better control over your apps for just 99 cents. Coming to the second app is Google One. Google One is a way to expand your Google storage, which, by the way, per user you only get 15 gigs, which spans across Google Mail, Google Photos, Google Drive, and if there's anything else. And these 15 gigs can very easily get exhausted given the number of emails and content you now store on Google Drive and Google Photos. So when you opt for this 100 gig plan, not only do you get 100 gigs of storage space, you're also able to upload your photos and videos in their highest quality. And you can also share the space with 5 other members. And so essentially 5 people can use these 100 gigs of storage that you buy. And it's really just a matter of time. Sooner or later, you're going to need this space because you're going to run out of it very soon. And now let's talk about the third app in the list, which is NordVPN. Plenty of prying eyes can monitor what you're doing online, right from your internet service provider like Comcast to the local cafe whose Wi-Fi you might be leeching off. And it's hard to say what these parties could be trusted with. Now, with VPNs, your Wi-Fi company or the internet service provider can really not tell where the traffic is coming from and where it's headed to, which is why VPN services have become very popular, and now there are so many of those that it's very difficult to choose and really see which one is legit. NordVPN is consistently one of the best reviewed VPN services. It's based outside of US jurisdiction in Panama. It hosts its own servers and uses proper encryption technology. It doesn't track user activity, and crucially, it's not a nightmare to use. NordVPN has a good balance of handy features, including the ability to block ads while you're connected, and a serious amount of servers to connect through, with multiple available in each country. Now, the fees are a little higher than average, but if you were to go for a longer duration plan, you can pay as less as $7 a month for unlimited traffic, which I think is pretty decent, again, if you're willing to really be that secure and feel that safe. Stepping down to the fourth app in the list is Medium. Medium is my everyday app to read content, and content on things that I'm passionate about or that I'm interested in. It's not news. These are experiences written by people who are experts in that field. And the content is so well written, it's actually very relatable. And you'll get content from all genres possible, right from relationship advice to politics to design to productivity and inspiration. Pretty much everything. What's also great about the app is its recommendation engine. It learns as you read content, things that you like, things that you engage with more, and then it presents you more of that. So it kind of gets hard to detach from reading, and you just go on reading more and more. That's actually a good thing. You may end up wasting a bit of time, but then you do end up gaining so much more information, and it's fun to read just because just the way the topics are written, the content is written, and again, the recommendation engine. And then you can also bookmark content, which sort of saves the article for offline viewing, and you can then read it when you're traveling or when you're in a flight. Now, the app only, in its free version, only lets you read about 3 to 5 content pieces a month, but you can get access to unlimited knowledge or content for $50 a year or $5 a month. So you can give it a shot and then see if you really end up using it a lot. You could go for the annual plan straight away. The fifth app in the list is Todoist. If you're anything like me and you have a lot of tasks to manage, then Todoist is the ultimate to-do app that you can get. It's got tremendous task management and organization capabilities. I have a full-time job where I have tasks. I've got tasks for my YouTube channel, and I've got personal tasks, towards my home and family. Even within my full-time job, I've got projects, and within each project, there could be multiple tasks and subtasks. With Todoist, I'm able to do all of that so neatly that it's not even funny. You can create projects, each project can then have sections, and each section can then have tasks and subtasks. And all of this so far is actually free in the app. But to add reminders, both time and location based, and even to use tags or labels, that's when you have to pay. It's just $3 a month paid annually, so that's about $36 for the entire year. And trust me guys, it's totally worth it. What I also love about the app is how easy it is to add a task. And no, not just from the phone, which by the way is insanely easy because you could add the task and the reminder and the due date and the project name while you're typing the task. I could also access the app on my laptop, on my tablet, on my phone, on the web, and even create tasks with a simple voice command using Alexa. I can create tasks out of my Slack messages. It's life-changing for me. Now, there are a lot of apps in the Play Store that are free, that offer the ability to add reminders at task level, but those are really simple. If you've got a lot of tasks and being able to organize your task is important, that's when you get to Todoist. That other apps don't let you do that really, at least not the free ones. The next app is called Mewbird, and it's a fairly new app in the Play Store, and this app has helped me be focused and be more productive in a very, very different way. It's a music streaming app that generates electronic music using AI. And depending on what you want to focus on, whether it is to relax, study, work, or to work out, you can choose one of these and it'll stream music for that. You can also choose a genre if you're in the mood for something like that. The app also learns from music you like or dislike, and it starts to stream more music that it thinks you would like over time. I really can't explain how this works for me, but it just does in a very weird way, and I'm just as surprised as you might be when you try this app out. Now, the app is actually free, but if you want to listen to more music and more variety of music, then you've got to pay a fees for it. And again, there's a monthly and an annual charge, so you can figure out which one you want to go for. It can only help to have an app that protects your phone in a variety of ways, and that's where the next app, BitDefender, comes into play. Not only does it scan for malware or any kind of suspicious activity on your phone, it also gives you a sense of security by giving you the ability to lock your apps, monitor your email accounts for any kind of breach, web protection for when you are browsing on popular browsers, and anti-theft features like detecting your phone's location if it's lost or stolen, remotely being able to ring it, or even erase your phone of all the data that you have. And a great new addition is that it now offers VPN services. So if you did not want to shell out money for premium VPN services like NordVPN, you could just pay $15 annually for BitDefender and still get unlimited VPN traffic. So yeah, that's something that you could go for. But again, the app is free to try for 2 weeks, and after your 2-week trial is over, you've got to pay. So try it, and if you like it, go for it. The next app is called Blinkist, and essentially it's an app that gives you key takeaways from very popular non-fiction books. So if you've not got the time to read the entire book, it actually helps to just have a great summary of just, the best takeaways from that book in under 15 minutes. And Blinkist has a pretty good library of books spread across almost all genres that you could think of. It's also got a ton of usability features. You can listen to the takeaways and not necessarily read them. You can offline them and read them without internet access, say in a flight. And it's got a Kindle integration as well. So all in all, for about $4 to $5 a month, I think it's a pretty sweet deal, and definitely go for it. Now, I'm not saying that there are not other apps like Blinkist on the Play Store. There are. It's just the one that I'm used to, so I'm recommending it. Next app is Nova Launcher, and if you don't already know about it, it's basically a home screen replacement app that allows you a lot of flexibility in terms of customization and truly making your own user experience of your smartphone. You can change the grid size of your home screen and have more apps than ever. You can apply from a bunch of beautiful icon packs, change the way your folders look and behave. You can change the color of the app drawer, the transparency, and how it looks or how apps are presented on it, whether in a list style or a card style, how many apps should be visible at a time. And the best part is that all of this is actually free. What you have to pay for is a bit more advanced, like gestures. For example, I can configure what a single swipe up can do, what a double finger swipe up can do, what a double finger swipe down can do, what happens when I rotate my fingers clockwise or anti-clockwise, or when I pinch and when I zoom out. And all of this just helps me use my phone a lot more efficiently and just a lot faster. And I also feel really cool when I do all of these things. It's really just great. So, depending upon your preference, you can customize your home screen as well as your app drawer to best fit your usage patterns and see what works best for you. And the last thing I want to recommend is to get an icon pack. Now, there are many icon packs available, again, free as well as paid ones, and there are some really good paid icon packs. I'll leave a list of some of my favorite, but Linex is one of those, and Unicorn Dark is another icon pack, and even Gradient Icons is another. Point being, invest in 1 or 2 or maybe 10 good icon packs. Your phone can get old and you can get bored of how your phone looks. Having a great icon pack and being able to apply it just makes your phone look different and fresh, and that can impact your life in a way. But again, to apply icon packs, you either need to have a launcher like Nova Launcher or something. On some phones, you can do that inherently, like on OnePlus. You can choose an icon pack system. On Samsung phones with One UI, I don't think you can do that. So you'll need Nova to be able to apply icon packs. But again, I've done a full tutorial on what Nova can do and how it needs to be used. So I'll leave a link here so you can sort of look that up. Anyway, so that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this. I hope this was really helpful for you, and if you've got any questions, comments, feel free to drop them in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. See you in the next one.